Successfully achieved by October of 1954. We had mastered gravity control, gravity wave propulsion systems by October 1954. So I was
to see publicly, there is it's like a tip of the iceberg of the activity behind the scenes.
Yes.
There's so much more going on behind the scenes. So
why do you believe that the federal government refuses to be transparent about this issue?
Now, this brings up a question of whether or not it matters what country it's from, because as I understand the organization engaged in this subject, it's a transnational corrupt organization. It's a organized crime syndicate that's global, and it has operations in every country in the world, subterranean, that goes off the radar of the leadership of these other countries. And I know that's true in the United Kingdom, the United States, Australia, the other advanced Western countries, France, and whatnot. Now,
and we're going to be scrappy about it. If the American people want to see answers, we need to action. We've had the hearings. It's time to take action. It's time that we pass Tim Burchett's Whistleblower Act. It's time that we pass the UAP Disclosure Act. And I think that we've had a lot of talk about this. It's time for action.
We're talking about real jail time. We get 15 years just for conducting an unauthorized operation without congressional approval. Or not. This doesn't have to be about containment anymore. It can be about excision.
I really never believed in UFOs or any of this stuff. I always thought it was a little kooky and whatnot, but after hearing your testimony from honorable service members, I gotta admit, I've become a believer.
Because when I think about disclosure, the UFO phenomenon, the truth, all that stuff, to me, that's gonna take root in the children that we have now and that are being born now. When they're our age, it's going to be so normal.
Yes, absolutely. The momentum is building.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more normal by the day.
So are you to help many other people to not give into it and recognize it and not go into fear? Chris, yes, and to understand that we are seeing is not evil and that it's part of love and creation. The angels and the principalities, agents of their creator or creation, they work for creation. Barbara. So have you found that the church, even the Catholic Church, is open and responsive to this kind of teaching? Chris. I think that they will be. They will be. They will want to be. And that they will accept. A good many will accept the truth. It's been hidden away. This is in biblical terms. She said the apocalypse, to reveal that which is hidden. To tell the truth because we have a choice. To live in fear and die by fear, or live in love and find happiness and peace. We have that choice, and all of humanity at this point deserves the truth.
I wanted to say one more thing about that.
Yeah.
That night that I had that, I was real scared. I couldn't sleep, and I went into my dad's room and told him that it had happened.
Right.
I was real freaked out, and he told me one thing that always stuck with me. But he said, if that ever happens to you again, say the name Jesus.
Right.
That's what he said.
Okay.
And it happened again, and but without the creatures that time.
Right. Just paralysis.
But still, I was paralyzed.
Right.
And I, in my mind, that's the only thing I could think of. I said it, and it immediately all went away.
Oh.
Which is, it's a weird thing, but I think it comforted me somehow, and I went right back to sleep.
History of astronomical research and a personal connection to a land where mysterious phenomena aren't confined to the heavens. They are literally carved into the ground. A lot has been made already about why the successor of Peter and the immediate successor of Francis took the name Leo. The last Pope Leo ruled for 25 years at the end of the 19th century. He's known as the social justice pope, using the ultimate pulpit to speak up for workers' rights and economic fairness. In fact, the Vatican has now confirmed the new pope picked his new name for that very reason. But you know what else Pope Leo XIII did? He established the Vatican Observatory, cementing the Church's long-standing fascination with the heavens. Not just heaven, either. Even now, the Vatican operates a state-of-the-art telescope system on the outskirts of Rome and Mount Graham in Arizona. Vatican astronomers collaborate with astronomers in leading institutions worldwide. Their findings, their methods, and their research, like all Vatican records, are preserved for the ages, you guessed it, in the Vatican archives. And they could help answer an ancient debate. Whether centuries-old sightings of angels and other heavenly beings were actually extraterrestrials, non-human visitors from somewhere else in the universe, you know.
Is your religion the Catholic faith?
No, I was born and raised a Baptist.
A Baptist?
Yeah.
What do you think of these claims that the Catholic Church knows a lot more than it's letting on?
I'm pretty sure they do. I think that they have ancient writings with a whole lot more descriptions about what they were seeing that we could read and determine something from.
The question is no longer whether these events are real, but whether we have the courage to face them.
Incredible thing you've discovered with your most recent documentary?
That psychic abilities seem to be real, you know, and that it's just overlooked by mainstream society. I think, like I said, there has to be more of a controlled study of it in an academic setting for us to, you know, if they start bringing in remote viewers to Harvard or Stanford again, actually Ed May still does the psychic testing over at SRI. And I just don't understand why it's not international news, that it's something.
Is it normal that like you would see like your dead grandfather and she said, well, for some people it might be normal, for others it would be foreign? You know, why? Have you had that experience? And yes, I had. But I didn't think it was a thing. Like, I just thought, like, you know, that's what happens. You know, your dead relatives show up every now and again. So I went to the public library and I literally read every book that they had under the occult section back in 1985, which was not a lot of books, to be honest. But I read every book that I can get my hands on. And what I discovered was that all of these books that were written prior to me being born were talking about experiences that I had had my entire life. And I just kind of relegated that to coincidence.
into the supernatural.
How in the world did you ever get involved in praying to demon spirits?
Well, when I came out of the Navy after World War II, I was looking for take up a trade in Montreal, Canada. And at that time, I ran across a fellow that had been on a particular ship with me. And he said, "Hey, Mono, you're alive. How nice to meet you." He said, "Let's have dinner tonight." I said to my boss, "Can I have the evening off?" Because I was the assistant to the Windsor bowling alleys and billiard. You know, it's the high-class place in Montreal where all the dress manufacturing people go and relax. So I got the evening off, and I went out. We went out and had dinner. He told me, "Hey, I got something fantastic to tell you." He said, "I am affiliated with people that speak with the spirits of the dead. How would you like to talk to the spirit of your dead mother?" And I was shocked. I was shocked. He said, "You wouldn't be afraid of talking to the spirit of your dead mother, would you?" Well, I said, "I'll tell you what, I would have to give that some thought, because it's something I never thought about before in my life."
Most of us probably haven't. A little afraid of something like that.
Well, he says, you know, it's written all over your face. You're afraid of going to a seance. But he says, "I know you. He says, you're going to come." And then he started telling me how brave I was when I was aboard ship, you know, different things. He says, "You're not the same man. You've changed. You're chicken." That's all I needed to hear. I said, "When do we go to a seance?" So one Saturday evening, we were in the place. It was the very first time. Very beautiful place. The medium was a lady. She had a gorgeous new home in Montreal. And there were about 20 invited guests there, which I was one of them. And she communicated with the spirits for different people there, and telling them what the spirit said. And then there was one lady that had been talking almost continually before the seance started, and she didn't believe in the dead appearing and all of this and all that. And she said, "Well, I would have to see my dead sister," she says, "to believe it." So while the seance was going, one man said, "I would like to talk to my friend that died 6 months ago, but I don't want him to appear. Just want to talk to him. Because," he says, "I don't trust you talking to my friend for me." So the medium says, "Let me inquire of the spirit." "Yeah, the spirit will talk with you." And that big masculine voice was heard in the place. It says, "Hi, Frank. It's nice of you to ask for me to talk with you."
"Nice to meet you. Hey, it's my honor." Kind of like meeting you, Tony. I'm like, man, I don't belong here, but I love it. I'm honored. It's fascinating. Thank you. They want to be worshipped.
He said that to you.
Right. Look me right in the eyes. Second quote. You ready for this one? And this always gives me chills. "They'll give you anything you want, Nathaniel, as long as you worship them." It was
or Satan had a deception plan for humanity, that demonic spirits would pose as visitors from far distant galaxies. He also said that it would be during a time of great calamity on the earth, and when New Age beliefs were running rampant.
Roger, when I was a teenager back in the 1970s, I remember a song that came out talking about the age of Aquarius. And since then, we've seen the development of the New Age, and I wondered if back when you were involved in spirit worship, if they talked about New Age at all.
Oh yes, it was a big thing that was coming up. One of the major deceptions of the last days. And the priest told us, we talked quite a while, and then he said, could I have a little bit more? Your time I want to do something very fascinating. He says the grand plan, the master's grand plan for harvesting the nations, for harvesting the multitudes of the earth into his cause, just before the close of the great controversy between the forces of good and evil. So we continued, after we expressed ourselves that we're deeply interested to know more about the activities of spirits. And he said it's going to be done in a unique manner. This grand plan is going to take people are going to eat the stuff. Because he says spirits, demon spirits, will declare themselves to be inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies that are coming to warn the inhabitants of planet Earth of the impending destruction of the planet unless something seriously proper is done to avoid it.